News Channel 8 presents New Skills for Living with your host, Tom Lavin, a healthy plan for healthy living.
Hello and welcome to New Skills for Living, a show dedicated to healing and wholeness in our community. If you or a loved one has ever had problems with depression or anxiety or post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, alcohol or drug problems, and you've wondered, is there help and is there hope and is there a way out and a way up? We've got three wonderful guests today who can help us see that there is help and there is hope. On my far right is Randy Jording, and Randy is a psychiatric caseworker who has expertise in vocational service coordinator. And Randy, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us your expertise in vocational coordination. So
Thank you
thanks
for
for being
having me,
here.
Tom.
And then next is Linda James, and Linda too is a psychiatric caseworker with expertise in vocational services. Linda, thank you for being here. And then to my immediate right is Connie Webb, and Connie is our guest tonight as someone in recovery who has been turning her life around. And what we want to ask Connie about right here at the beginning is to share a little bit of her life story with us. So Connie, would you please share with us like what it was like, what happened, and what it's like today, please?
Well, approximately 5 years ago, I went to NAMS to seek help because I'm a recovering alcoholic addict, and I knew that there was deep trouble beneath the reason why I had become so active in my substance abuse and my alcoholism. And I've received wonderful help from NAMS, all of you at NAMS, and I have, as of last August 28th, 2 o'clock in the morning, I have 5 years.
Oh, that's great.
Recovery, and I have a little boy who's 6 years old. I'm a good mother now. Before, when I was using, I have three beautiful girls out there, but it wasn't the time to be with them. And I'm a new person, and you know.
And so you mentioned like what was going on underneath the alcohol and the drugs, and so Connie, is that where
it started?
About the anxiety and the depression,
yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I've always been growing up an introvert and socially shy. I'm sure there's a professional word for that. And I discovered as a teen, when I drank a few beers, suddenly I was the life of the party. And it all started from there. And I thought, oh, well, I've solved my problem.
So how did it progress then, Connie?
Well, it at first, you know, it worked, but then the deeper you get into it, and it ravages your body and your soul. And you hurt all those around you, forget what you're doing to yourself, and it ruins families, and I can't begin to tell you how much damage I caused. And
then 5 years ago you reached out for help. Can you tell us about that process, Connie?
I had hit rock bottom, and I remember people saying, well, I hit rock bottom, and I thought, what is rock bottom? Well, I hit it. And God played a big part of it in just touching me, and He put NAMS in my life, all of you, and also Step 2, Sierra of the Lighthouse, and Reentry Center. There's a lot of help out there. And I really was at the bottom, and it's just a miracle how I am today.
Yeah. Well, Connie, thank you for sharing that. Maybe very briefly also then, what are the things that you've done in the last 5 years to help you turn your life around?
Oh, dear. Therapy, medication for anxiety and depression. I'm going to school, TMCC. You all are instrumental in that, and just
So just a number of things that you've done to really,
Yeah.
after you've hit bottom, to rebuild your new life as a person and as a
Yeah.
member of society and as a mom, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like 2 years ago or even 1 year ago, I would have never dreamed I'd be sitting here doing this.
Yeah.
Because I really am shy.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of your new life is to reach out to help other people.
I'd
huh?
love to,
And-
because I know the pain
Yes.
and the happiness they can find.
Yes. Well, thank you, Connie, for your generosity in sharing your story with us. And Linda, what I'd like to ask you is, I don't think Connie's story is unique. I think there are a lot of people probably that turn their lives around, and you and Randy have been so instrumental in helping other people. But what are the things that you heard in Connie's story that, as a psychiatric caseworker involved in vocational services, that you're familiar with, and can you share those with us?
Absolutely. There's several things that come to mind. With Connie, she had a great willingness to change. And it all started 5 years ago when she wanted to get her GED. And that was the beginning of her process. So the second thing is hard work. She's worked hard every single year to make a lot of strides to better herself, to turn her life totally around. And the third thing is that she has is patience. She realizes that the problem wasn't created overnight and that it's not going to change totally for the better overnight. So she's been willing to have that patience and to keep moving ahead, because there's always occasional setbacks, you know, and then you have to work through those and then you move forward. And I think the other things that come to mind are all the hope that she shows. You know, she reached out for help. There's help not only at NAMS, at Truckee Meadows Community College, where Connie is working on her AA degree. There's the Disability Resource Center, and they've been of a lot of help. There's the Reentry Center with other staff that have also been of help. The counselors have been wonderful with both of us and guided us through the process, because it's a whole different ball game now than it was 20, 30 years ago. And so those are the things that I noticed, but those qualities, you're right. Connie's an example of a person who, when they want to do better and change their lives around, they can do it. And we do see that, not maybe every day, but at least every week.
Yes, and we're going to follow up and talk with you and Randy and Connie more about that. As we end this segment, Connie, I want to thank you for your generosity in sharing your story, and
You're welcome.
Linda for your comments. And we're going to start off right after this brief break. We're going to talk with Randy Jording about why work and making a difference is so important in all of our lives. We'll see you after this break. Hello and welcome back to New Skills for Living. You know, there's a saying in the recovery movement that you alone can do it, but you don't have to do it alone. And having Randy Jording and Linda James here are two examples of people that really are dedicated to helping other people find and create a new life. And we're going to hear from Randy about how important it is that we contribute to life and how important work is, or going to school, or volunteering. Randy, can you set that up for us? Why is that so important for us in life?
Tom, I think that's very important because of the person's self-esteem, self-value, self-worth. I think once the person realizes they are a contributing member of society, you know, they feel like they have a place in society. They feel like they can give something back. And that's why I think that is so very important.
So Randy, in all your years of helping people, you've seen people go from being kind of helpless and feeling like they really can't do anything to really getting their life back, their self-esteem, and then you've seen them start working and go to school. Can you tell us, from your perspective, what has that been like for you to walk that way with people?
Tom, that is one of the most rewarding experiences I see every day, and that is a person being able to, you know, face someone else in society, to know that they are valued, to know that they are worthy again, and that is such an important thing.
Yeah, and I think it is important, you know, when we do reach out for help, you know, sometimes we can feel kind of helpless and hopeless, but when we realize we can help ourselves and we can help other people and contribute to society, it sure makes all the difference in the world with self-esteem and relationships. And Linda, what would you comment about that from your experience and expertise?
The one thing that I see that all my clients have in common is that when they come in to see us, their self-esteem is usually rock bottom. through all the things that have happened in their lives, no matter what. It's just totally rock bottom. And I often think that Randy and I, and actually all NAM staff, that we're their cheerleaders. The basic thing for us to do is to help somebody start to focus on all the things that they can do. And so often people just think, well, I never did this and I never did that. And they're all focused on the negative aspects of their lives, rather than focusing on, wait a minute, I went back to school and I got my GED. Now I'm starting school again and I'm getting A's and B's. And I'm making friends at my school now, and I'm now participating, I'm working, I'm volunteering, I'm becoming an active parent, I'm involved in my son's school. And I think that you start with people with their self-esteem so low, and I love it when people just they just start to change their thinking around and realize there's so many things that they can do.
Yeah, that's well put, Linda. Thank you. And Connie, you know, Randy and Linda were sharing about the development of self-esteem when people go back and they say, yes, I can do this. Can you tell us about what it's been like for you to go back to school, to be in TMCC and moving toward getting your degree?
Well, it's been intimidating, exciting. 1 minute I'm on top of the world, the next, as they mentioned, what am I doing? But it's been great. And they're very right. And I've had so much help with my self-esteem, because Linda's always, as you are too, always pointing out, well, look what you've accomplished. So, yeah, it's an up and down thing, but the more you accomplish, the easier it gets. And as I said before, I really can't believe I'm sitting here today.
Well, thank you for sharing, Connie. Now, Linda, I guess one of the things you were alluding to is that people can sometimes have the idea, I've got this diagnosis, I've messed up my life, I'm depressed, I'm on medications, I was on alcohol and drugs, and you're telling me I can work or go to school. Who would have me? And that's what you and Randy help people with, huh?
That's correct. I had one parent last week that called me and said, but my son has schizophrenia. And I said, but there's a lot of people with that illness and other mental illnesses that can work, perhaps not full-time, but perhaps they can. But go to school, get their degree, get their GED first, and then get their college education that also work. And she was amazed. Really, there's hope for my son. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Randy, could you comment in just a few seconds in the end of this segment? Tell us a little bit more about what it's like for you to be able to offer help and hope to other people.
Well, it's something that's very rewarding, Tom. And I want to add to something that Linda said and stuff in terms of, I think many clients initially see themselves as failures. Once they have that first success step, you know, they realize they can accomplish things. They can be on the road to success, which goes along with what Connie was saying also. And to see that verbal light come on, that is so rewarding.
Yes. Well, we want to thank our guests for this segment, and right after this brief break, we're going to return and talk more with Randy and Linda and Connie about how people recover their lives and have good lives. Hello, and welcome back to New Skills for Living. We want to start off talking with Linda James, and Linda is one of the people who does such a great job in vocational services, helping people get their an important part of their life back, and that's working or volunteering. A lot of people, Linda, think that if you come to adult mental health services, you might get medications and then you might get counseling, and that's all. Some people don't know about vocational services. Can you tell us what's offered to people there?
There's a variety of things that are offered. We usually start with what you normally do in any type of mental health services, and that's an assessment that just breaks down to getting people's history, their educational history, their criminal background history, because that matters with some employers. They will accept some misdemeanors or felonies and not accept others. But after getting all the history and their work history, basically what it boils down to is working with what the client wants, what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. And people come in and they may already be on disability, and they want a part-time job. Now, a part-time job could be paid employment. It could be volunteer services. One gentleman that I assisted in getting a volunteer situation 2.5 years ago, he's long not been my client, but he's still there because he feels that he contributes. It's a nonprofit agency, and he likes going in 15, 20 hours a week. So it's giving back. Other people come in, they want to work on their college education, like Connie, and people who are well able to do that. And they're looking for a career to take care of themselves and their families. So it's a great variety.
Can you tell what kinds of jobs have you helped people get in the last few years?
I have to think about that. I can't tell you that I help them get the job.
Okay.
I can't tell you that because that would not be true.
Okay.
What I do is I help people prepare to job search, and that involves filling out application, filling it out so that an employer will take notice. Helping a person with a resume, a one-page resume is what works in our community. Helping them with their interview skills. A lot of people don't know how to interview correctly, and they want to be so honest, which is wonderful, but they get way off track rather than focusing on what they can do in the workplace. So, and then helping them with their job search. Many people don't realize that when you're looking for a job, it's a full-time job, so that you are successful. So getting people a job, no, I don't do that, but I do all the other things.
So you kind of coach them and you prepare them, and you're an encourager.
And I'm an
Also,
encourager.
can you talk a little bit about being an encourager?
A cheerleader. People get really, and people get very, I guess, let me start over. When you job search, we all know, everybody who's listening and each of us here, we know that when you're looking for a job, it can really get to us because we're not going to get all the jobs we apply for. And that's really hard, especially when we've just built our self-esteem back up. So it's learning to apply for the right jobs and showing people that it's okay if you don't get a particular job, that there's a better job out there for you.
That's some excellent work that Linda and Randy and the others are doing at Adult Mental Health. Right after this brief break, we're going to talk with Randy about what are the things on campus that he helps and supports people with in terms of developing a vocation. And then we'll also get a little more time to talk with Connie. Hello and welcome back to New Skills for Living. You'll see that Connie's son, Sean, has joined us. We want to welcome Sean here with us. It's really great to have Sean here. We want to turn now to Randy. Randy, can you tell us about the patient worker program at Adult Mental Health?
Yes, Tom. We have an on-campus learning lab at NAMS, which consists of, first of all, the canteen. The canteen is a snack bar where clients learn initial and secondary food service skills. And that's not only limited to cashiering, but customer service, interacting with customers, stocking shelves, inventory control, and a multitude of duties, not to forget, of course, kitchen safety and sanitation, which is very important. That also includes the drop-in center, which is a place where clients can go just to relax. It's kind of a free parking zone where a person can just go and relax and get away from some of their stresses. And finally, there's employment available on the grounds. Grounds is assisting some of our groundskeepers. As you know, we're on 90 acres there, so we have quite a bit of grounds to keep up.
So can you tell us a little bit more, the worker program is real work, right?
Yes, our goal is competitive employment.
And you mentioned some of the skills that people learned with you, Randy. Can you tell us about some of the attitudes that people learn working with you?
The attitudes, first of all, Tom, is learning to get along with others, learning that they are valued human beings, learning that they do have a purpose, and the clients will often find their niche in certain jobs. I had a client the other day in the canteen mention, I'm now able to talk to people. I can look people in the eye. That feels so good. In the past, I could not do that. And something like that, it was very rewarding.
Yes. Linda, what would you comment about the patient worker program at Adult Mental Health?
The patient worker program really fulfills a great need for us because everybody that I see is not ready to go out into competitive employment. And the patient worker program helps provide an individual with skills over a specified length of time. And then after that, most are ready to go out into the community.
So, and I guess, Randy, you kind of function as kind of a boss or a supervisor, but also kind of a coach and an encourager. Can you tell us about some of the encouraging and how you help develop someone to go from maybe someone who hasn't worked in 5 or 10 years to, by the time they end up the program with you, they're ready to go out into the real world and get a great job?
Generally, first a person will express an interest in some particular aspect or kind of work. We will take it from there, Tom, and assist them step by step with basic skills and secondary skills, which will lead them to the competitive employment. And of course, self-esteem is very key along the way.
Yes.
And as a person continues to succeed, you see their self-esteem rise. And that's very nice to see.
And then, Linda, what could you tell us a little bit more about attitudes that are developed by people who haven't worked in a while and now they find themselves getting ready to go back into the workforce?
Most people overestimate if their stamina, and that's one thing that I see every day, and they'll think that they are totally ready to go back full time, when in reality maybe part-time is a better way to start. One client told Randy and me lately that they realized that working 8 hours a day isn't going to work for them. Working part-time right now while they're getting their strength back and they're learning new skills. That's really important.
That's some good information. Connie, as we're wrapping up this segment of the show, would you want to share with people, maybe there's someone out in the audience where they themselves have had some problems with mental health or with substance abuse, and they're trying to find their way. In about a half a minute, what could you share with them about help and hope?
That there is so much help out there, and I know your pain. I've been there. And 5 years ago, I was at the bottom of the bottom. And right now, I'm making amends. And I have my darling little boy. And I'm a good mother. And please know that there's help out there.
Thank you for sharing that, Connie.
Okay.
And we want to thank you for joining us. I believe up on your screen, you'll see the website, www.easeap.com. The show is available on the website if you'd like to watch it. We want to thank you for joining us. We want to thank you for spending this time with us. We want to thank Randy Jordan and Linda James and Connie Webb and Sean Webb too. Sean, thank you for coming here. We'll see you next month.